Salutations, friends. Welcome back to the Stream of Blood for tonight's presentation of my favorite campaign we do here on the stream. This is our Call of Cthulhu 7th edition campaign, the Neptune Society. I have to just take a moment to say what an incredible job Mike Mason, Paul Fricker, and everybody that worked on the Call of Cthulhu 7th edition did in sort of updating the game, making it more playable and more exciting for a new generation. This game has so many great rule improvements, and we have so much fun playing it here on the stream in a gaslight setting. This game takes place tonight in the year 1869, and tonight I have a mystery for everyone. A murder investigation, or actually it's not necessarily a murder investigation, but it is an investigation involving a body. And so tonight we're going to have a little bit more of a traditional Call of Cthulhu experience. Last time we presented this show to you, the investigators were exploring the center of the earth. Tonight we are leaving the realm of science romance and coming to the very real and concrete world of death and murder on the streets of a small England town. In the shadow of a cathedral, people are dying in the city of York. Tonight we present to you the Toymaker of York. And I'm going to bring in the great cast that we've put together for you right now. He is a comedian, actor, and writer, and a mainstay of the Neptune Society, one of its heroes. But his character is now quite a bit older as Archibald Fredericksham III. Please welcome Will Weldon, everybody.
Hi.
Hey, buddy.
Hey.
How's it going?
Good, great. How could things not be good right now?
I mean, I get pretty happy when I turn on my little blue light and then get to pretend to be in the 1800s for a while. Not because I really loved conditions back then, but I love the mystery stories and the horror stories from that period.
Yeah, if you could get a little Rhett in there, you'd have a whole Nicholas Winding Refn film going on.
Maybe I should do that. Maybe I'll try switching one of them to red. Oh, the delight! Will, Archibald Fredericksham, he was always quite a sickly guy, and now he's a bit older. He's not decrepit, but he's 51 years old. How do you think he's changed over the years?
I feel like at this point he's probably finally had to come to terms with the fact that all this supernatural and paranormal stuff is real. But I don't know a lot of people whose hypochondria gets better as they get older, so I imagine it's much, much worse than it used to be.
Yeah, I'd say you are welcome to play that. I know I sent you a new character sheet today where some of his stats had to go down a little bit because he aged. Luckily he's a mental powerhouse, and they're gonna need his mystery solving skills today. I'm gonna bring in your next player. She is playing a new character. She is a good pal of mine who I worked with on several writing jobs, who I've performed with on many stages. We even co-headlined a comedy club one time, and she's playing a barmaid. Whose name, escapes me for a second. I have to bring it up. She's playing a barmaid named Frannie Chump. Please welcome our good pal, Eliza Skinner, everybody.
Jared, Eliza appears to have walked away from the computer.
Oh. Well, no big deal. We're just trying to run a fucking show here.
Let's wish her well and hope she's safe, and we will come back to her.
I'm sure is there a chance that she's unsafe?
She's missing. She's currently missing, Jared.
She's MIA. Okay. Well, we'll come back to Eliza in a minute, and hopefully I can give such an effusive introduction a second time. Instead, hello.
Hi. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's you're like, Jared's gonna talk in Victorian vernacular for 20 minutes. I can probably go and pour a cup of tea.
Yeah, it was mostly that, and also the dogs were suddenly like, "I need to pee." Me too. We all do. And so I was like, "I can do that fast." Not pee, but let them out. Anyway, I'm here.
Well, if anybody needs to urinate during the game, just let us know in the private chat, and then go off and do that. And when you come back, your character will probably still be alive.
Oh no, you're already gonna kill me.
No, Eliza, look, I mean, you like horror stuff, I know. You and I are horror pals. So are you excited to get into some gross, icky, skin crawly stuff tonight with Frannie Chump here?
Absolutely, always. I mean, that's the kind of horror that I like. The ickier the better. I'm not into the haunting possessed type. I like the exploding, bodies rending.
Chunks of viscera.
Yes. All the viscera.
The chunks of viscera genre.
Yes.
Well, I'll see if I can fit some chunks of viscera in here to please our friend Eliza, who's a real gore hound. I'm going to bring in this gentleman now. He is one of the co-keepers of the Ain't Slayed Nobody Cthulhu in the Wild West podcast. I was told that he keeps track of their lore and helps write the stories. So he is the Clinton Trucks of the Enslaved Nobody, and I'm so happy to have him here playing a character that you always need, the Honorable Dr. Edgar Portwright. Please welcome Will Baizer, everybody.
Thanks for having me, all. Happy to be here.
So we know that you're a keeper for Call of Cthulhu, that sometimes you run the games, but do you like playing? Do you think you're good at playing as a soft little investigator that can get destroyed at any moment?
I mean, whenever I do, usually things blow up. So,
yeah.
I mean, we'll see. We'll see.
Oh, you're one of those let's go get some dynamite players.
I always play with them, and I'm an encourager. I'm an enabler as a player.
Great.
No.
Well, as the doctor, you can probably heal these guys up when they get ripped open or take a lump to the head. And you're going to have actually a very big role to play in this particular adventure because your character is the coroner for the Yorkshire area. You are the coroner, and so the adventure is really going to come to Dr. Portwright. I'm going to introduce our final player, this guy. What a mensch, and what a fantastic performer. I mean, frankly, rock star. You know him for his solo albums and also as the singer for the old 97s. And he's a great member of the Neptune Society. We just had him on our little shooting party one shot, and he was just great. Please welcome, as Lord Billiam, the gutter snipe who has inherited a fortune, Mr. Rhett Miller, everybody.
That was quite an introduction. Thank you.
I know, it goes on and on, doesn't it? I just have so many nice things to say about you. Sorry.
I love that you're wrestling with your cameras.
My face is, Rhett, hi.
I just lost some sanity trying to make your face out.
I know. I'm going to have to, I don't know what's going on with my camera tonight. I'm going to move it around a little bit. But, I just get fuzzy when we have such a great cast. My face starts to get blurry with emotion. And so I'm so happy you're here. Lord Billiam, he's kind of inherited the Neptune Society in a way. He's sort of like, the adopted son of the old leader of the Neptune Society. Is that a heavy burden to bear? Heavy burden?
Bottom, now I'm here. Yeah, I mean, I came from nothing, so I expect nothing, right? I was a gutter snipe, as you said, on the streets of Clerkenwell, London, and then I was adopted along with my two adopted gutter snipe sisters by Captain Middlemass, who was the head of the Neptune Society, and now here I am. I'm practically ancient. I'm 32 years old, and I've seen a lot. I've seen some things that really fucked you. Recently, there was a run-in with a few years ago with a werewolf that was gnarly. Lots of visceral gore there, Frannie.
Nice.
You handled it well. You came through it with your skin intact. Who is ready to play some Neptune Society? And you might hear my own eldritch horror screaming back there as she is told she must go to bed. She is not a nocturnal animal like a ghoul. I know, it's completely unfair, and she shouldn't have to do it. even though she is only 22
Unionize!
months old. She's about to have a brother or sister, and then I fear they will unionize. So we're ready to play some Neptune Society, everybody.
Woo!
Yeah!
Let's do it.
Yay.
Here's my little intro at the Battle of Waterloo. The notorious poet, rake, and occultist Lord Bartlett encountered an extra-dimensional subterranean entity of immense power. 50 years later, the society he endowed is still traveling the globe, seeking out the dark corners of the earth. Their members are explorers, mariners, travelers, and vagabonds. They are the thin curtain that separates our world from the ancient forces that dwell just on the periphery of our vision. Stiff upper lip, chum. This is the Neptune Society. And so,
Huzzah, huzzah.
with a gulp of beer, we begin.
Hell of an introduction. Damn.
Thank you. Yes. Oh, and then here comes. Let me set the scene. You have been traveling, Lord Billiam, Archibald, Fredericksham. You've been traveling for.
Baby.
Say again.
You've been traveling with a crying baby. You've
Yes.
lost Kennedy.
You're in steerage, and there are a lot of peasant class laborers in there with you, crying children, and you've been traveling in this boat from the new Neptune Society headquarters. Recently, the headquarters was completely destroyed. It would have been like 7 years back in one of our previous adventures that Archibald was present for, and it's been rebuilt now. It's been rebuilt in the English Channel on Jersey Island. And it is now located in a mansion called the Maison 22 out on Jersey Island, where a lot of Her Majesty's naval officers and naval sailors kind of retire, some of them. And it has a beautiful island out there. So now you make your residence there at certain times of the year, Lord Billiam. It's a beautiful island in the middle of the channel, but you have been summoned. You've been sent by Kit Carson, the president of the Neptune Society. She has sent you back to the mainland, back to England, along with the Neptune Society's #1 investigator, or #2. It depends on whether Slab Harrington is around. But you've been sent with Archibald Fredericksham to York in Yorkshire, England, because a very strange body has been found. And so if you, Archibald, and you, Lord Billiam, would just briefly tell me how you spend the time on your voyage and then subsequent long coach ride all the way up to Yorkshire. It's a journey of maybe approximately 2 days.
I spend pretty much all of the voyage continuing to study new forms of medicine, as my beloved humorism was properly debunked in the 1858, I believe I looked up. So it's been 11 years, but I'm still trying to reacquaint myself with an entirely new way of thinking about medicine and the way bodies work. I would say that it makes me melancholic, but I know that is no longer accurate.
Right. Things are no longer caused by foul humors in the blood, as you once believed, Archibald. And because you've been studying medicine these many years, I'll go ahead and allow you to try to roll over your medicine. When you improve a skill, which happens usually at the end of a story, you try to roll over it.
So I'm trying to roll under it, you said?
Over it in this case, because it'll allow you a chance to improve it.
Oh, great, because I rolled a whopping 99.
Great. Well, then
yes, and what would have been a critical failure in any other situation.
But this is just a check to see if your studies have borne fruit, and indeed they have. You may roll a d10 and add that much to your medicine skill. And Lord Billiam, this long journey, how do you spend it traveling up to York?
Well, I'm rather paranoid, is probably the word for it. So I'm always wear a velvet cloak. It's got a secret pocket inside. At this point, my friend Archibald has seen, because I pull a lens from that pocket more often than I should. But I'm always gazing through it out the window. I'm always I'm trying to see if I can see something through this lens that the normal human eye might not be able to see, and also I've been trying to develop powers of prestidigitation to try and keep from making it quite as noticeable, this tick of mine that I must constantly pull a large dinner plate sized object from a secret pocket and look through it.
Of course, this is the magical lens of a strange glass-like material that you pickpocketed in your very first adventure many years ago when you were a simple Dickensian gutter snipe. And so you still possess this to this day. And sometimes when you look through it, strange things are seen, things that other people can't see. And so on your journey, let's find out if you see anything eerie or eldritch. Why don't you give me, I believe it's a hard power roll, or is it just a power roll? Did I tell you?
I just heard power.
I think it is just a power roll. Forgive me. Just a power roll, please.
27.
So you succeed, yes?
Yes.
So in one of these many instances, you're on a train and you kind of lift up your lens surreptitiously to look around, and outside the train, on the platform, as the train is starting to pull away, you see a yellow-robed figure, their face completely obscured by shadow and darkness, their robes tattered, fray, a tatterdemalion-type robe, and it reaches out a bony hand and points directly at you, Lord Billiam. You may roll sanity.
Over by 7. 47.
Okay, unfortunately, I am going to make you incur a slight sanity loss for this. You've actually seen these creatures before in your first adventure. You lose 3 sanity, Lord Billiam, and you know that they are all over England, at least, or everywhere you go. Sometimes when you hold up the lens, you see these creatures, and you know that they are always there, just a hair's breadth between our dimension and theirs, watching us, monitoring us. And when you look at them, they too can see you. But right now, I want you to try to roll over your sleight of hand to see how good your prestidigitation is getting.
Ooh, 99!
There you go.
What are the
Go ahead.
odds?
Roll a d10 and add that to your your sleight of hand. And
Tell me that a 0 is a 10.
it is. What did you roll exactly?
On a 10-sider, I rolled a 0.
Then you rolled a 10. You've added 10 points to it. That's awesome. Eventually, you arrive in York. You arrive via coach and then train, and you come to this. It's really quite a small town still, but it's an old town. The Romans settled here at one time. There's an old Roman road, and of course, the structures that dominate this little burg in the year 1869 are York Minster Abbey, the great cathedral that towers up over the city center. It's quite beautiful, even here in the fading light. And in addition, you see a little farther off York Castle, now used as a prison, but the battlements, part of the old castle that was built all the way back in the 1100s, are still part of this edifice that hangs out over the small rolling green hills of York here in the month of October in the year 1869. And you arrive at your rendezvous, the place you guys were told to go, Silver Street, here in York. You were told to go and meet with a doctor named Dr. Edgar Portwright. And Dr. Portwright, the reason they are meeting with you is because recently something very strange was found in York. And let me describe what was found. The body of a man named Dominic Ludlow. Dominic Ludlow worked at the York Carriage Works, where they build carriages. He was involved in an accident. He was involved in an industrial accident that ripped his body in twain. And when the body was recovered, when the other workers got down to the body, like down in between the gears or what have you, and pulled him out, it was found that the things inside of his body, they made you question whether he was human or not. And right now he sits, Dr. Portwright, played by our friend Will Baizer, on the table here in the Constable's Station on Silver Street in York. A body lays before you, looks like the body of a middle-aged man, a laborer from his calloused hands and sort of rough complexion. But his torso has been ripped open by the accident that took his life. And inside you see metal parts, but also yellow strands connecting the machinery and dribbling slightly out of the chest cavity a yellow fluid.
Is there a way I can deduce what this yellow fluid is, or how this all kind of works? Or
you absolutely may. Do you have a skill that you would suggest for that?
Probably medicine's not the one. Neither is natural world. Maybe some science, biology.
Yeah, science, biology sounds very likely.
All right, let's warm up. That's a nice roll to start off here. We got 10.
A 10, excellent. Why don't you go ahead and check that roll?
That would be a hard success. But
that's very good. You can check that roll, and you find that the yellow fluid and the yellow ligaments inside of the body are a type of fungus. And with a 10%, that's at least a hard success, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell you that you remember that fungus likes to grow in locations that are damp or moist with temperatures of 70 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit. But you were interrupted.
This is a lot of information I seem to know.
Yes, you know lots of things. You have quite a good score in biology, but you were interrupted because they have now brought in the woman who knows the worker. They brought in a woman who knows the worker to identify the body, and soon the constables pull in our new friend, Frannie Chump.
Hello.
Frannie, you're looking at a man whom you know from around the neighborhood. He has come in often to your tavern where you wait, called the Old White Swan. But what you are looking at sort of boggles your mind when you look at him. His torso is quite ripped open, and inside you see like actual machinery and then like weird yellow mucousy strands of something.
Looks like somebody sneezed a clock into him.
I guess you could say that, yes. You say you know this man. How exactly do you...
Oh, he comes by for a pint from time to time.
Well, you don't know him that well? I mean...
What are you suggesting exactly?
Well, what did you want to ask her, Will? Why was she brought in? Probably is a good question.
Yeah,
well, people are.
Apparently, this girl comes in. I'm in my coroner's office.
Sure. Well, they brought in a woman who knows the family, who knows, who can help them identify the wife, and also maybe knows why the body looks like this. But before you get into that conversation, let's bring all of our characters in on this. Suddenly, through the door come two international investigators, two members of the Neptune Society, delvers into the strange, obscure, and bizarre Archibald Fredericksham and Lord Billiam.
Well, it's the whole pancake house in here now, isn't it?
Is my office just a circus now? What is going on?
I have a coughing fit, and then wipe the corners of my mouth, but I wipe fake blood into them, so it looks like I've got consumption or something. Yes. Hello, very drafty office you have here, Mr. Coroner.
Are you okay? You're bleeding from the mouth.
Oh yes, just a bit of a case of huffing collapse. I'll surely be fine by the morn.
Seems like somebody probably popped him in the mouth one, eh?
Wouldn't be the first time I received a good Garrett's thumb, but let's get down to business here.
Lord Billiam, did you started to say something?
Yeah, I like to back into corners, peek around, make sure that there's nothing hiding behind. I'm very paranoid about this whole setup. I want to glance out the curtains, and if possible, I would like to slip the lens from my pocket of my cloak and just glance around the room.
Very good. Would you like to be very surreptitious about this?
I probably would. I don't know these people.
Okay, then you may roll your sleight of hand. And if you do that while they're all kind of making introductions and, talking about Archibald's consumption, you can take a quick look.
Yeah, it's almost as if he specifically created a diversion for me. So, yeah, I've got a 49 versus my 60.
Very good. Very well done. So you pull it up and you look through the lens at this body, and definitely, Lord Billiam, you not only notice that in the light through the strange pink lens, the things sort of pulsate with an extra dimensional power, but there also appear to be snapped now, but like threads, like tendrils of light sort of leading off of the body. But they have been snapped. As you kind of look out the hallway with your lens, you see that the frayed ends of them sort of float in the air. And of course, when you pull your lens down, none of that is visible at all.
All right. I'm going to wait to say anything. I just want to stand back for the moment and take in this scene. Frannie seems to be taking up a lot of oxygen, not unlike Archibald.
What exactly is going on here? I mean, all of a sudden, 3 strangers are in my office. I have absolutely no idea. I've not been made aware of why.
Very good. The corporal of the police station comes in and he goes, "Look here, Portwright. We thought something strange like this. We better bring the Neptunes in on it. You've heard of them, haven't you?"
The Neptunes?
Yes. Oh, they're a society. What used to be out of London, but is now out of Jersey Island in the Channel because they have a new headquarters that was decided on by a vote of the entire society.
Oh, yes, I remember that from the keeper's description. Yes, I remember.
Yes, exactly. They have a way of figuring out things like this. I mean, you realize, of course, Portwright, don't you, that men saw this gentleman fall. They saw his body ripped in two, but the things inside him weren't red. He doesn't have the heart of a man. Oh.
I could have told you that from the way he tips.
Well,
which is done in my bar, unlike most of this country.
My God,
Right.
what a backwater place I've found myself in. Tipping the help, my God.
1869, they definitely didn't tip, except in your bar.
In my bar, we've got a sign.
Yeah. Tipping encouraged in this tavern only in this particular country.
And it's huge because it also explains what tipping is.
Yeah.
Yes.
By tipping, we mean a percentage of your bill given to the staff.
What I will say now is that people are free to examine the body if they would like to try to form more clues from the body. Frannie, you know exactly where to find his house and his wife and his kids, his 4 kids. So you could take them there. And also this accident happened at the carriage works. That's a possibility as well. But you guys let me know if you think of anything else.
Well, I'm afraid that this might be a contagious disease at this point.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. Yes.
I would be very interested to see whether or not this is contagious, and if so, then everyone in this room is in danger.
You may roll medicine if you will, but I don't know how advanced immunology was in 1869. 17. Well, I mean, that's an excellent roll.
In danger of getting possessed of whatever he got, then?
Yeah, I mean, it would be quite unfortunate.
You mean the spirits or whatever did this to him?
Yes, the spirit.
Yeah, yes. I'm quite unfamiliar with such cowardice to come from a doctor, as if we would get this man's disease, perchance through magic or ghostery. And I try to shove Dr. Portwright out of the way so I can look at the body. but I hurt my elbow and cry out in pain, and then just sort of try to like squeeze in front of him to get a good look at it.
I'm sorry,
Very
Dr.
good.
Portwright. Forgive the old coot. He's got no manners whatsoever. But I will tell you, there is something going on here that is not medically explainable. There's something magical or something from the spirit world.
Not
Oh,
medically
go on,
explainable.
then.
There's no such thing.
Who knows this man? How long have they known him? Has he lived here a long time? Has he always been?
Well, he's been here for his entire life, I believe. But Frannie
Yeah,
knows him.
He's a through and through Yorkie.
He is. These things are true and correct. And Archibald, if you'd like, you may roll your medicine as well.
All right.
Or unless there was something else you were thinking of using.
I'd like to do medicine to see, sort of generally like if I can, I don't know, figure out anything medicine-y here. But then also try to do a spot hidden check to see if he has anything like suspicious on him.
Very good,
I rolled a 54 on medicine, so that's going to fail. Start muttering to myself about yellow bile. And I rolled a 38 on spot hidden.
Okay, very good. The spot hidden does yield something. You kind of, Archibald, I don't know how you do this because I know you're quite you don't like to really touch gross things.
I poke at the man with one of my 2 canes. I keep a
Right.
backup for such occasions.
Okay, cane number 1 goes in, and you're able to pull out some of these mechanical parts a little bit to get a closer look at them. And it even looks like some of his bones have been replaced by like wooden dowels, like wooden dowels that are you're not sure what kind of craft they would be used in, but they look like common materials that people would use to build things here in the year 1869. And likewise, your spot hidden will also yield the fact, because it was pretty good, that the machinery in there doesn't look alien to you. It looks like stuff that exists in the world you know.
The type of thing simple Uncle Albert might toy with during one of his episodes.
Exactly.
Yes, when the rare time we would let him out of the asylum. How long, you there, bar one? How long had you known this man?
Oh, what's this act like you don't talk to people like me on the regular? Bar woman, who are you? What do you do? Come on.
Please, ma'am, I have a reputation to keep up. Please, I just wish to know how long you've known this man.
Since I came to town, he's been coming into my bar, me pub. He orders a drink, leaves his kids for a while.
Children, my God.
You, Frannie, may make an intelligence roll to remember something.
All right, I'm gonna.
Just like in real life.
Let me see what I can.
Don't you wish that was you could just roll dice and didn't know things sometimes?
Well done. What?
Real life.
It's coming to me. 97.
Oh, that's a fail.
Oh shit.
So, Frannie, the way I like to run a game is when you succeed, you tell me what happens, but when you fail, I tell you what your character does. And in this case, Frannie tells you, and correct me if I'm wrong, Eliza, probably like a lot of long anecdotes about his drinking habits that have absolutely no bearing on the case at hand.
But I think they are hilarious, everyone. And then they cracked it over his head, didn't feel a thing.
The corporal sticks his head in and go, "Here now, let's have a little less mirth. A man's dead."
Right, you're right.
I think.
Is he dead?
Well,
he
Is he
hasn't
the
moved.
coroner?
He hasn't moved.
Well, that's why I'm asking the keeper.
He hasn't moved, and you've succeeded at a few medicine rolls on him, so he does seem truly dead. And in fact, his physical body is injured to the point where it would be difficult for him to move even if he did come back to life. Like, the bottom half of him is almost kind of sawed off. Yeah, exactly. Not quite totally, but enough that there's just a huge opening, in the side of him, which is what revealed this horror within. So I am going to now ask my collected adventurers what their next move is. Are they going? What are they going to investigate next?
I'm not quite. I don't really care about these people. I'm more interested in understanding the base cause of this and understanding if there is something that is I don't know, is contagious a thing?
It's certainly.
I don't know that it is. I looked it up and like immunology and like viral sites. It seems like it didn't really take off till like the very early 1900s.
But doctor, you would be familiar with certain maladies that were common at the time, and you would be very familiar with pandemics, which were quite common. I mean, every couple decades, cholera outbreaks were common. All kinds of horrible, terrible things like that. Right. And so I can tell you from your very excellent medicine roll that you made earlier, right before Archibald and Frannie started to tease you about it, that you, this doesn't seem like anything like that. I mean, of course it doesn't. It seems to you, Doctor, that there's no... Actually, you know what, Doctor? It seems to you that there's no way that this man could have been alive. And I want you to now roll your sanity.
Cool. I hope I fail. That's a God. Why can't I fail? 3. It's a 3.
Okay, so you succeed. You succeed and take no sanity loss, of course. But I am going to say that perhaps you are curious, fascinated, interested in going on an adventure now.
How does the stuff around the coroner's office, does it look new? Does it look worn down?
Well, at this time, yes. So at this time, the way a coroner usually worked was that he would go to the courthouse and he would have a jury of people watch him go over the body, and everybody would agree with witnesses how it had died and what the cause of death was. This being a special case, they have moved the body back to the constable's station. Police being a new thing of the last 50 years. And everybody's a little uncomfortable about it, except for the corporal, who apparently is gunning for some membership in the Neptune Society. He's heard about it. He thinks they're great. And he's chumming up to you, Archibald, going like, I mean, you probably need law enforcement types in the Neptune Society, don't you?
Last time we let such types in, left many of us with a bad case of gracious loser syndrome. I don't know that we'll be making such an error again in the future.
Well, not so fast, Doctor. I mean, it's always good to have capable, strong types around, right? We can let's see how he does today, because this definitely seems like a terrible situation, less medical than mechanical. Maybe we. I look at
Dr. Portwright and I go, "You there, coroner? I will pay you to accompany us in place of the police officer."
I mean, I was going to accompany you. I mean, regardless if you are going to my place, but
never negotiate a man down from his first offer, Portwright. I have much to teach you. And I slap him on the back and start coughing.
Okay. Well,
and
okay.
so now the party, I think, has spent time here, and I'm going to roll something that shows what the mystery is doing while you're not interacting with it. Interesting. Okay. And I'm going to make a note of that. So what would you like to do next?
Perhaps it seems you mentioned children there.
No, none of my own.
No, not yours. The clock man on the table. You mentioned he had children of his own.
Oh, yeah, sure. I think I should probably get off to work, but he lived right by the pub. I could take you there.
Yes, it seems speaking with his family to see if they had noticed any such strangeries as this would be a good place to begin the investigation.
Very good. Well, you know that he lives in an apartment in Holgate, which is a neighborhood here in York. And yes, our friend Frannie can take you there before she heads off to, of course, do her shift at the pub, which is very important. But first, she can take you there and make introductions. Do we all agree that that's an okay next step? Then that is where we go. And so I can tell you, I wish my daughter was still crying, because this would be the perfect moment. This poor woman has 4 children, and now she does not have a husband who's bringing in an income. So you perhaps, if you are an empathetic sort, you're an investigator, you feel sorry for her. She looks kind of tired. Her hair is kind of down. The place looks pretty impoverished, but not horribly so, because he did have a regular job at a carriage works. So these people would be what you might call at this time in history middle class. But she is kind of rocking a baby who's crying, and comes out onto her stoop to meet this party of 4 well-off gentlemen, and then also a tavern maid whom she knows quite well. She's like, "Oi, Frannie, hi."
Hello. So, bad news.
What's that?
You know what? Dr.
Frannie,
Portwright.
why don't I take this one? I've dealt with this before.
Yeah, and I pull a meat pie out of my skirt and just hand it to her knowingly.
It is in your inventory, and so she takes the meat pie and is like, "What's this about?"
Just listen.
Madam, I'm going to need you to sit down for a second. Mr. Archibald,
She holds off the baby to one of the elder kids.
No,
She
Mr.
holds it
Archibald,
off.
could you take the baby?
Huh?
Mr. Archibald, could you take the baby?
I'm afraid I have a bad case of stranger's elbow, and am likely to drop the child. But I could give it a touch of Godfrey's cordial to settle it some.
Okay,
You're not touching my kid.
Please,
Hands
ma'am.
up.
It's a simple medicine made of water, treacle, and opium. It will be fine.
Roll.
Madam,
Roll
don't you know
medicine.
opium is good for a
Roll
child?
medicine. You have
Its
your
nickname-
medicine kit.
Its nickname is literally Mother's Friend. 33.
So Archibald, the woman's like kind of nervous around you and doesn't want to give you the baby, and thought it was a weird suggestion for the doctor to make, frankly, and was trying to hand her off to an elder child. But Archibald comes forward with his little medicine kit and gives her a little mother's helper to the child, and suddenly the baby quits crying, and she goes, "Oh, thank you. Oh, well, I guess that this evening just got much better, and so I welcome you."
Ma'am, I'm going to need you to sit down for a second. Ma'am, we pronounced your husband dead around, I don't know, 12? 12 p.m.
Yeah, 12's great. What happened, Doctor?
Well, you know how it goes down at the factories. Your husband got caught up in the machinery and there. Yes.
It was a proud way to go. He did it saving another man. He's a hero.
Yes, sure. Yes, he is very much a hero.
Well, he hasn't been a hero to this family in a while, but still, I don't know how I'm going to make ends meet without him.
What do you mean? What happened?
Ne'er you mind, Frannie. I know you'll just bandy it about the entire town if I tell you.
No. I know my limits. I'll put it in the safe.
Well, he's just been a bit strange lately, hasn't he?
He has been a bit strange, but how would you describe it?
Hasn't been popping by the pub at all, I know that.
It's true, it's been a few weeks.
Because when he comes home, I smell it on his breath. But he's been going out just the same.
Where's he been?
Well, normally I'd require some sort of persuade roll, but I like this older gentleman who just helped me with my baby. So I'll tell you, listen, you better look into it carefully, because I think he was caught up in something.
Yes, he was. It tore him in half.
Oh, well, you need to make sure that it wasn't just an accident, because I seen him talking to some strange folks. People we've never associated with. Why, the other day, because I knew he wasn't going down the pub, I followed him a bit, right? I just gave the baby to Tulip here, and I followed him, and I seen him meeting with a gentleman, someone of quality. Yes, a man that had a beard but no mustache. But that's not all. There was also a maid. A
With
maid from...
No mustache also?
No, but she was Indian. An Indian maid from India.
Right.
And we don't know anyone from India, and we certainly don't know any gentlemen, much to my chagrin. Well, now I suppose I do, don't I, sir? Thank you for helping me with the child. Are you by any chance unattached?
I'm very much attached to both my work and a woman I pay to return my attachments. Yes.
I understand. Oh,
I may, but to ease your suffering during these difficult times, I may be able to provide you with a touch of McMunn's elixir, or perhaps some Dover's powder.
bring it on,
I'm just like rooting around in my bag and like handing her little baggies. Yeah.
Bring it on, sir.
Would a bag of cocaine help?
I think that's what Archibald is help. Well, cocaine probably would not help, but
yeah, mine's opium. I see your cocaine and I'm like, just why don't you hold off on that? Well,
She looks at it for a second and she goes, "I can't, sir. I've got to take care of these little ones, but thank you."
Can you tell us where you saw the mustachioed man and the Indian woman?
Mm-hmm.
Or the non-mustachioed man?
I can indeed. They were standing outside of York Castle, and I know that my dome doesn't have any business there. My accent's all over the place.
They all are. It's all right.
Before we leave, can I try and step away and look through my lens and just...
You certainly may. So let me have another power roll from you, my friend.
All right. Ooh, 68.
Is that a fail?
Yes.
That simply means in this particular case that I want you to use up 4 of your magic points. Magic points are sort of like your soul energy, Lord Billiam. So if you were to use them all up, and they do come back over time, but if you were to use them all up in the course of this adventure, it could be bad for you because you might need to do magical things later. Okay. But so the lens has drained you, but when you look over at her apartment, you see something glowing within, but only through the lens.
Is it like up in the second story? Is it close to? Are we right outside of the apartment?
You're right outside of her little apartment. It's a first floor dwelling, and it's just right inside the door, and you can hear the children in there.
Would it be possible to just make some sort of muttered explanation and just say, "Oh, there's something I've got to check out," and go walk in there?
I think that's certainly possible. And so, Lord Billiam, you do so. Yes. And you enter the apartment, a small affair, 2 rooms for 6 people, but as neat as it can possibly be put together. And you eventually come to the source of sort of the extra dimensional energy you detected, and you are looking at a marionette. Ooh, it seems very out of place in this, this pretty humble dwelling. How big is it? It's small. It's the size of a normal marionette, but it sits on a high shelf where the children possibly couldn't reach it. It's in red with a lacquered white face, and it stares out with a huge smile.
Is it? Am I observed right now, or could I grab it and throw it inside my cloak to take it with us?
with the children are watching you, so with a sleight of hand, I would allow it.
Okay, I'll try a sleight of hand. I might, what I might do is I might pick a toy up off the floor and toss it back to create a diversion on the other side of the room. And
Add a bonus die.
Yeah.
oh, thank you.
Yeah.
61. So that's 1 over my sleight of hand.
Would you like to spend 1 luck to succeed?
Of course I would.
We can push the roll.
Or you can push the roll, but that's probably not as good an idea.
I just take that luck point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 1 luck cinches the roll for you, and you now have the marionette in your bag or in your cloak. In your cloak.
Yes.
Very good. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Any other questions for poor Miss Ludlow?
Well, can I,
her children?
Miss Ludlow? Apparently, the theory of cellular pathology has just been discovered in the 1860s. So, I do know about viruses and disease. So, can I please examine you and your children closely to see if there is the spread of such pathogens?
Certainly you may. Why don't you, and she agrees to that. She's happy to have you do that. So you may make a medicine roll.
I whisper to her, he's a doctor, isn't he? Hmm?
94. So they look fine. Perfectly normal people.
Well, failure doesn't always mean, it means sometimes it means a success with consequences in my games, because this wasn't a particularly monumental role, right? So they do seem fine to you, but the complication I'm going to give you, Dr. Portwright, is that you and the woman do sort of strike up a little bit of a conversation. Is Dr. Portwright married? No, he's widowed, I believe. Is that right?
I am widowed. I'm currently, and quite recently, I'm bereaved. Yes.
I would never tell you what your character would or would not do in this situation, but I will tell you.
I mean, he might be looking for a rebound. We don't know.
Yeah,
Perhaps.
Well, I mean, perhaps he found love in a hopeless place. But that is to explore maybe later in our story. But for now, suffice to say that they had an auspicious meeting. When you were examining her, she was like, "You doctors have to be so forward with people." And
it's part of the, the title.
Yeah, Frannie's behind her going,
You are right. Being a doctor is pretty cool, isn't it?
very good. So it does not appear that any sort of they are completely healthy. So your castle is where you were told that that strange meeting took place. And also the carriage works where the accident happened is still a situation. You found fungus in the body cavity, which was quite odd among the machinery. You found a wooden dowel in the body cavity, which looks like it comes from a terrestrial origin. And you have this strange marionette. What would you like to do next?
Before we leave, can we check the house to see, while I'm doing all this, can I check the house to see if I see any of that fungus?
Yeah, you may make a spot hidden roll.
This is a 16. I don't know what my spot hidden is off the top of my head, but I think that's a success.
It is a success. It's a success. If I'm going to look, I actually have everybody's sheets right here if you ever have a question. But that is a success, and I can tell you not a drop of fungus is in this house. She keeps a very tidy house, a tidy if humble home.
A tidy if humble home, I say to Lord Billiam.
Yes, and the woman who runs it seems to like you.
Does she now? Well, I didn't notice.
Well, it must be quite obvious for Billiam to notice such things. Not exactly one of his gifts, you know.
Well, I don't know what you mean, but let's go ahead and to the castle. Should we?
Please, yes.
Yes, perhaps those types will appear again at such a place.
Well, I believe the pub is on the way, Frannie. So
Yeah. Right. It's awfully strange, all this. Might just skip the pub and come along with.
But Frannie, the pub. Who will give poor Joe his free beer?
You're right. I must go for Joe.
Cut to a bunch of like old British men like pouring themselves drinks and singing loudly all through the night. Meanwhile,
Barkeep, I will, Lord Billiam and I will handle your night's wages.
You.
Excuse me, I am coughing in real life. We will handle your Eve's wages if you continue
The two
to
of you are going to
accompany
go
us.
pour the drinks for me. Is that what you're saying?
No,
Well,
we'll make up your lost wages. There might be something going on here you want to be a part of, because I think there's more than meets the eye.
yes,
I
you
think
seem
there
to
is there,
know.
Lord Billiam.
I open up my cloak and I show you my marionette.
I say, right, you're a fit one, aren't you?
You're an insane one, aren't you?
Why? Oh, I didn't notice the doll. Where's that come from?
Well, and I tell him about my glass and how I can see interdimensional and spiritual things, like mysterious things.
Right. Does that mean you can see under my clothes?
Depends what you've got under there.
Wouldn't you like to know, you old codger?
I suppose I would be curious if you wielded some sort of eldritch horror beneath the pantaloons.
I've heard worse about what I've got under there.
Both Dominic Ledlow's corpse and this marionette show signs of something that's otherworldly.
Well,
Like, what do you mean? A ghost or something?
Something like that. Traces of some sort of spiritual, ghostly, magical. I'm not quite sure what, but I can see it.
No ghosts. No, thank you. Absolutely not.
Well, then probably not a ghost.
Okay.
Yes, I thought I thought the answer to this question would be obvious, but perhaps I should ask it anyway. It's not typical for you to have men made of gears and other such equipment walking the streets, is it?
I don't know.
Before we investigate further.
Here in this town.
I've ever seen this before.
No, emotionally, yes, but physically, no, not so much.
Yes. Yes, all right. Perhaps well, it's also such a specialized field. Perhaps it would also be worth talking to any sort of watchmakers or clockmakers or gear proprietors or timepiece indubiers or moment of day procurers. Such types might be able to inform us of the instruments we found within this fellow.
I'll be honest, I can't think of many watchmakers or gear makers.
You may make an intelligence roll, Miss Chump, to see if you know of any in York.
Since I'm in York,
I got 50,
You may.
Dr.
59.
Portwright might as well.
82.
Do either of you know any men with beards with no mustaches or Indian women?
That is such an odd thing to do, is to have a beard without a mustache.
Well, not at the time, actually. It actually applies to lots of gentlemen. So let me just deal with the roles as they've happened. So, Miss Chump, how have you done on your intelligence roll?
59.
Yeah. So that's under your intelligence. It is.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's above. You have a 50 intelligence for Miss Chump.
Under that rating.
Miss Chump just tells you another long story about I don't know, engineers that worked on the castle that used to come into the old White Swan. How did you do, Doctor?
I rolled an 82, so can I just be like, yes, no, I remember that one. That one, that engineer was quite the chump. Was quite the chump.
Well, wait. If you yes, you rolled over. You don't want to spend 2 luck to succeed.
Maybe
It's up to you. You don't have
Yeah,
to.
why not? Yeah, it's whatever. Yeah, sure. Let's use some luck.
Hey, you talked me into it.
It doesn't. You know what? I'm not going to give you all the information except to say that you seem to remember that there might have been a shop like that, someone who could repair watches and clockwork somewhere down in the city center in the really old part of town.
Do I know his name or?
You do not.
Yeah, no, Frannie, I do remember that one engineer, but you know what? This jogged my memory somehow. There is an old watchmaker down in the center of town.
The very old, the Tudor part of town.
The old Tudor part of town.
Mm-hmm. And I can make Will say anything I just said. So
anything.
I gotta go pee.
I gotta go pee.
Is that near York Castle?
It's not far. The town isn't gigantic, so if you want to visit one and then the other, if you can find the shop he's talking about, then that's completely possible.
I forget what did Mrs. Gearman say what time she noticed her husband meeting with those sorts? And is it at night or during the day now?
It is now night because as you arrived, and Lord Billiam and my friend Archibald, you may be quite tired, but I do think you can keep investigating and exploring. I don't think you're stalwart members of the Neptune Society, but yes, it is now.
I can also do bumps of cocaine because I have it in my inventory.
Exactly. So it's getting.
I'm just doing key bumps.
You've been traveling all day, but you hit the ground running, and it is now full night. And a sliver of a moon rises up over York, and the air gets quite cold.
Perhaps a brisk look past the castle would assist us in. Maybe we'll notice those two people she mentioned there will be there. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I have a bad case of tournament-style sadness at the moment. I'm having trouble finding my tongue about me.
That is something I have heard of in my books, yes. I believe that is
an old malady, but a good one, I guess.
So you're going to go to the castle. And so what is that okay? Is everybody agreed? We're going to go to the castle and take a look around.
Are we going to the gear shop, the watchmaker shop? Or?
I figure it's good to go by the castle now because it's night now, and she noticed those two there meeting her husband during the night. So perchance, by coincidence, they will be there meeting someone else once again, or maybe they love to walk by there at night.
You did just say that, and I did hear that and acknowledge that, but then completely throw that out my mind. So yes, I understand.
Well, it was buried in the mountain of shit I was talking, so I understand.
Yes, there's a lot of information, and some of it is being performed in a bad accent. So some of it. You arrive at York Castle, and the approach from the town takes you across a little drawbridge, and then you arrive at the very large gatehouse. And this is a intimidating, newly renovated gatehouse within the last decade or so that they have kind of put onto the front of this castle. This castle, if anybody would like to, can make a history roll to know a little bit about it.
I'll do it.
But
I got a 26.
Oh, very good. So you know that it's been through many changes. In particular, 200 years ago during the English Civil War, a lot of it was blown up. Over there, Clifford's Tower. Miss Chump points for you guys, so you can see that beyond the high walls and the gatehouse that you're looking at right now, beyond those, if you were able to travel across the courtyard inside, you could get to yet another kind of like little drawbridge or little bridge that crosses over to the original Motte and Bailey of the structure, and there is a place called Clifford's Tower, and it is a tower. It is it's kind of in a clover kind of construction. A little bit odd or interesting. and it goes up, 50 feet up off of a kind of a steep sloped kind of Mott and Bailey construction that rises up out of the river Ouse. And I hope I'm pronouncing that right, but that is Ouse, the river Ouse. So you see this tower, and Miss Chump tells you that at one point it was blown up during the English Civil War. So all of the things inside of it, a lot of the stuff inside of it crumbled and were destroyed, but the outer wall remained intact. And as you watch, you don't see a lot of activity because it is night. But this gatehouse does have guards on duty.
And that's where my friend Sheila shagged Tom from the night guard. But as you can see from the outside, absolutely beautiful still.
I did help Sheila with that one ailment that she had while birthing her child. Yes, I do know her. Wow, that's interesting.
The blinding wound. Yes.
Understand the beginning of that.
Mm-hmm.
Are people watching, or are you guys out in the open? Or are you walking up?
Could we set up surveillance a little bit? Are we going to try and see, or are we going to go walk up to them? Or is there any place where you could gain a high ground and I wouldn't mind maybe doing my trick and looking.
And can I try? Well, it's not very high. Can I try like an occult roll to see if I have any knowledge of any sort of if any kind of rumors about things that had previously happened at this castle get jogged in my memory, like it was some sort of occult site or something?
So I'm going to allow two things. One, the answer to Lord Billiam's question is that if you were to cross back, if you were to kind of across the street from where the drawbridge kind of takes you up to the castle gatehouse, there are buildings. So if you could gain entry and climb to the top of them and get out on the roof, you'd have a little bit of a bird's eye view of who's coming down out of that drawbridge going in and out. But let me know how you would handle something like that, because it looks like this is the old section of town right here near the castle. There's a lot of shuttered shops. If people are inside, they might be have had their dinner, and they might even be going to bed. So I would need to know how Lord Billiam plans to get to the top of a building. You, Archibald, may not roll occult. You may roll your Cthulhu mythos when looking at this castle.
All right. Well. 0 is 10, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got a 30.
A 30. That's higher than your Cthulhu mythos.
Yeah, my Cthulhu mythos is 20. I don't want to blow the 10 luck points in case I succeed. I do that to succeed, and then you're just it's notoriously a normal, regular place.
That's totally your call. I think that if you'd like, I'll allow you to roll occult.
Okay, I'll try occult, which is barely higher. Well, that time I got a 96, so certainly won't be using luck on that one.
Okay.
Jared, would we know, Frannie or I, having grown up in this place, whether or not there were ghost stories or, urban legends around this place?
Dr. Portwright, you may roll your occult, and Frannie, if you'd wish. I don't know if you have much of an occult score, Frannie, but you're welcome, of course, to roll it as well.
Also, I'll say I didn't grow up here. I moved here to get away from London. Oh boy, I got an 88. So
I got a 26, and boy, do I have an itchy luck finger. So let's go ahead and move that to 20.
Okay. All right. Dr. Portwright is actually conversing. You guys are across the street from the castle. No one has particularly noticed you or even walked out of it yet. And Dr. Portwright and Archibald Fredericksham are having a discussion about maybe any occult connotations of the castle. And it is Dr. Portwright who tells you that according to legend, Henry III's architect, who added a lot of construction to this, including Clifford's Tower, was not just an architect. He practiced sacred geometry. He was a wizard or sorcerer of some sort.
No, but of course, it's just rumor. I mean, things like that don't exist.
Yes. Well, give it 15 years, and you might come around on the subject.
I mean, science is often changing, and
Yes, and you deal with enough squid men. Eventually, you're just like, well, I guess this is real, and I was incorrect.
I also like that Archibald and the doctor kind of talk to each other and like, I'm getting the final word over and over. Like, well, science is changing. Yes, but there are squid men. That's how they kind of have their repertoire. My friend Lord Billiam, have you decided how you might get purchase in one of these buildings?
Well, if you'll remember, when I was 8 years old, I lived on a rooftop, and I see a lot of value in rooftops. I wonder if I could just look around and if there was any chance I could spot a building that looked empty, uninhabited, dark, and propose to the group that we might want to take up some sort of an observation post and look for these people that were waiting for it, and also so that I might take my lens out and look for traces of magic. Or
certainly, this all sounds like an interesting plan. Does anybody have an issue with the plan?
With climbing on top of a building?
We'll maybe find a building that was uninhabited and go up the stairs. We don't have to climb up like the gutter. Right.
Even stairs. It is quite
Archibald,
late, and
killing me.
I am suffering from a touch of castle freakishness.
Do I have any friends in the area? Everybody
Actually,
knew me, right?
what a great question, Frannie. Why don't you roll your power, Frannie? That is the POW at the top of your sheet. That's sort of your, or you could roll. Let's see, your charm. You could roll your charm.
I got a 10 with a 0. Does that make it 100?
It doesn't.
I think that's 20.
No, a 10 with a 0 is a with a
10 and a 10. It'd be 20.
Oh no. That's 100. Yeah, you failed that. Yeah.
Oh man.
That's okay. That's okay though. So was that your power roll?
Yeah.
wait.
Okay, why don't you roll charm? Roll charm for me. Your character has a charm of 60.
Nice.
Well, I got a 64. Can I?
Would you like to spend 4 luck?
Yes, I would.
Yeah, you do.
Okay.
Very good. It just so happens that you spy a man named Farnsworth, who you know from the bar, and he is dropping in on a candle making shop of a woman named Mendelbright, and he is not married to her. But he is kind of knocking on her door very late at night, and you spy him doing that. That is your luck roll, and it was a charm roll, was it not?
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm going to say, if it's okay with you, you tell me how you get this guy. This guy's going for a kind of a late night meeting with somebody he's not married to. How do you welcome yourself and your friends into the apartment with him?
What's his name?
His name is Farnsworth, Billy
And her
Farnsworth.
Her name?
Her name is Mendelbright.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I
Agnes
give him
Mendelbright.
I give him a nice, bright, friendly. Oh, Billy Farnsworthy. How's Mrs. Farnsworthy?
It's Farnsworth. What are you doing out here?
I'm doing some sightseeing with my friends here. How is the missus?
She's
I bet
she's
she
well,
must,
Miss Chump. She's
she must
well.
love your friendy who is it who lives here?
Agnes. Yeah, I was just
Agnes.
dropping off some flowers she asked me to get
Right,
for her.
Oh, it's none of my business, obviously, but my friends and I sure would like to get in there and get up onto the roof of the building. And as I said, what you're doing is obviously none of my business at the moment.
A view of the castle you'd like.
Yeah, you're so romantic, isn't it?
Follow me. He takes you into the candle shop, and this woman is like, "Hello," and then all of these people walk in, and she's like, what in the heavens? And he's like, quiet, Aggie. And he takes you up into her apartments, and then he takes you.
Evening
What's
miss.
that?
It's an evening miss.
Yes. Oh, yes. She's like, hello. And then he takes you up into her apartments, and he takes you out a little window where you have to kind of climb up and onto the top of the building, which, being the old section of town, has sort of a sloped roof. These are these big timber-framed Tudor-style buildings, but you guys can climb up onto the sloped roof. And the only thing I'll tell you about the sloped roof is this. If action were to happen, I would require rolls for you to navigate it because it's not easy. But because we are right now just quietly surveilling a location, you're able to all sort of make it with each other's help onto the top of this thing. And now you must tell me what you'd like to do next.
Well, before doing that next, I would like to, as soon as I see people start to climb out the window, I go, and turn around and walk back out into the street and sort of wave to them up on the roof.
Oh, very good. Archibald's having nothing of this. The air up there is going to do horrible things with his sinuses.
But I do have a bit of the cautious take swirling through my brain at the moment. So I do load my Colt revolver and keep it ready to go in my pocket.
Very good. Revolver loaded. My rooftop surveillance team. What do you do?
Dr. Portwright is also not usually a guy who goes on adventures in the middle of the night on top of buildings, so I guess he'll stay down with Mr. Archibald, but
oh Christ,
this is all quite a bit much for me.
Very good.
We'll take a bump of cocaine and hang out in the alley.
Dr. Portwright, you and Archibald are hanging out in an alley. You are using the pharmaceutical implements that are completely medicinal that Archibald has brought.
Knowledge between.
We're like, imagine if the four humors were real, you know? Wouldn't that be crazy?
By the time we come back down, you guys have written a screenplay.
But how about Miss Chump and Lord Billiam? What are you doing on the roof?
I'd like to ask Lord Billiam if that lens of his is something anyone can look through. Or is it only a Lord Billiam sort of thing?
I think anyone could look through it, but I'm afraid if you look through it, it might cost you. If you know what I mean. I don't feel the joy I felt when I was a kid before I found this thing. It sucked some of the joy out of me just knowing that. And I think as I speak with her, my gutter snipe accent which has been tamped down by my lordliness because I inherited a freaking lordship. When I was a kid, I spent a lot of times on the roofs and I felt so at home, and now I never feel at home anywhere because I know everywhere I look there could be one of them yellow creatures pointing its finger at me, and I know that there's dead people everywhere, and I know there's other universes. It's just peeking through a gap and looking at me, looking at you.
One of the yellow creatures.
That's what I'm saying. You don't want to know. I don't. Just maybe let me look through it and maybe save yourself.
All right. I will. But first, just look up there at the stars. You must still feel something being on a roof, looking at the stars. They don't change all that much, do they?
You've got a point. Yeah.
Yeah, we've always got something to tethering us back to the world. So how about I look through this?
Here's I don't want to interrupt. Lord Billiam, do you allow Miss Chump to do this?
Now this lens is the size of a dinner plate. I think it is. Could I hold it out so that she and I could both look through it towards the castle at the same time?
You certainly might. And so now what I will tell you is that you all have been talking about this for many hours. And what I would like from the very tired Lord Billiam, you are still human, is a constitution roll. Archibald Fredericksham, you said that you've been imbibing pharmaceutical powders, and so I'm not going to require a constitution roll from you. And the doctor are quite awake.
Yeah, Lord you can Billiam, hear my teeth grinding from like a mile away.
Lord Billiam, how did your Constitution roll go?
Terribly. 76 versus my 50.
Okay. Would you like to push it in some way?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Just
if you
roll.
push it, you can push it, and if you fail again, I'm going to levy some sort of penalty against you. Roll again, and you want to get it success this time. How'd it go?
Not well.
Lord Billiam, I'm sorry to do this to you, but traveling all day and then 4 hours pass on this roof, and you sort of kind of fall into a slumber. And so, Miss Chump, you're the one sort of holding the lens when finally, from within the prison, doors open and a group walks out. This group are not prison guards. They are... Yes. A young man in fine clothes with a little bow tie, a little tie, with a beard, but no mustache.
A chin strap.
A gentleman by all accounts. And with him, you see that he is walking alongside what looks like an Anglican priest, and a policeman. And it looks a little odd. Why are these people walking out of the castle at this incredibly late hour? Miss Chump, do you look through the lens? It sounds like you were looking through the lens, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm going to say no power roll necessary because you guys have been practicing with it all night and you have it trained on here, and I'm not going to suddenly make it not work. As you look through the lens, these people, like when you bring it up and you're looking through the moonlight at them, they are not people. They look like people. They look like they're kind of talking quietly, although you can't hear their voices. And then as they start to walk across the drawbridge, you see as the young man with the chin strap beard, his face sort of unravels in a strange... yes, this is what he looks like through the lens. A horrid conglomeration of some sort of eldritch organism sprouts from his suit and his face. And through the lens, it seems as if for a moment you hear like a kind of like a tick, 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 like he's talking in like some sort of like percussive, like kind of grinding kind of sound, and the others are returning it to him, tick, 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 but it's just barely audible. Mostly you just see this horrid thing, and Miss Chump, you must make a sanity roll.
Could just be, the typical after hours crowd.
Right?
You got this.
I got a 35.
Okay, so your sanity is a 60, Frannie Chump, and so you succeeded. You only lose 1 sanity and go down to 59.
Yep, the typical after hours crowd.
I've seen it 100 times.
These people are not what they seem to be. Archibald, Fredericksham, and my friend Dr. Portwright, make a spot hidden roll. You're so... because the others had to stay awake, you guys have to pay attention.
57.
57.
I got a 49.
Okay.
Oh no, excuse me. I got a 99. I'd like to push that.
Oh, you want to push that? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I know I can. Oh. Okay. Well. Yeah, I got a 19 that time.
Good.
Right.
Your success means that even though you are chattering on to Portwright about all things occult and medical,
all colors bile.
You suddenly, luckily, see kind of a shadow fall into the alley where you guys are kind of crouched, and you realize that there are people out on the cobblestone streets, and they are standing together and walking along, and they seem to have come from the castle.
Nothing. It's fine with me. I mean, if I see that, it's completely normal. I mean, why wouldn't it be?
Is it?
Well, I'll
and
tell you why
do I recognize or not recognize, but can I like make out their features so I notice it is
yes,
like
they look like normal people, but you definitely see
but the chin beard and
a young man of quality with a chin beard. Yes, has
yes.
just exited, and the reason that it is odd, my friend the doctor, is that these people, you can tell just by looking at them, would not normally associate together, and they are walking out of the castle at about 3 a.m. All of these things are strange and incongruous. Are they overly strange where you'd be like, monsters, and start shooting? No, but they are strange and incongruous. And so
I have an itchy trigger finger as well. I mean,
so I am going to now ask everybody their action as these people start to move away down the cobbles. Miss Chump, what do you do?
I freak out a little bit. Am I looking at by the way, tentacles or vines? Like are we talking a wooden type thing? Okay.
Vines, they do seem reminiscent of the things you saw sticking out of that body earlier.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess I would like to grab a hold of Lord Billiam and try to wake him up and tell him what I saw.
Do I need to roll?
Not to wake up, and if you would like to look through the lens, you still have a moment left before they disappear from your your surveillance location that you've set up here.
She's holding it up, and I glance through it and gasp.
You gasp and you make a sanity roll.
6.
Oh, my friend, you take only 1 sanity, and you see that all 3 of these people, the Anglican priest, the policeman, and the young gentleman with the chin-strap beard, all seem to be like not human when you look through the lens. They have
3 of them?
strange, and I will also say the strands coming off of them, the weird tendrils, are reminiscent of the thing you saw coming out of the body. But Lord Billiam, I will allow you 1 more roll here. I want you to roll spot hidden for me when you're looking through the lens.
Come on. Bad. 68. I could push it.
Great.
Need one
No,
more.
you may if you'd like. But what I will tell you is that I'm not going to tell you anything. Would you like to push?
push the roll.
Push the roll.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm a bad influence.
Okay. All right. Shit. 81.
Okay.
No, listen to me.
so-
It's a bad idea.
Here's what happens. You can't, okay, you see that those strands are coming off of them, and the tendrils, like kind of like that thing you found, the body, they kind of weave off into the night, and you are desperate to see where those weird tendrils are leading, right? Like what are they attached to, these strange fungal plants that are coming out of these people? And so you lean way over the side of the roof and you fall. That's what I'm going to make happen for your failed push roll. And so if you would like, you may give me a jumping roll to see if you survive your fall. Or you will survive it, but to see if you incur damage from it. You're not that high up.
Rhett, if I come in here and I kill your character, I'm sorry.
88.
All right. So
Can I push
here's what
this
happens.
roll?
In this particular case, I might
Because if I
not
push
allow
this,
it.
I might just die.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. So here's what happens. You take, you've been very lucky with the dice. You take only 1 damage from your fall.
Yes.
You land hard on the cobbles beneath. Archibald and Dr. Portwright, you immediately see that Lord Billiam has fallen off the roof, and he has not only fallen off the roof in a place where you both can see him, but where all of a sudden the 3 people go and see him laying there on the cobbles, with kind of a scuffed knee, and they're kind of just looking over him. What would everybody like to do? Let's start with Frannie. You're muted, my friend, but it sounds like you're going
Said,
to.
bloody hell! And then I run back inside. He fell with the glass.
He did. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
So I just need to take myself back inside and run down the stairs and get outside.
Great. I think that generally will require a dexterity roll, Frannie.
Okay. Also, I'm going to say, though, when I get down to what I'm aiming for, get down to the door, see what's happening outside. Give it a look before I run.
Right, yeah, before you go running out there. Oh, I love a Call of Cthulhu player that plays carefully.
29.
Okay, so your dexterity roll was a success, was it not?
I believe so, yeah.
I think you're moving very quickly, and so I'm going to let you know how many rounds it's going to take you to get down there. 2. You're moving very quickly. I think that Frannie is not. She's like sliding down the banisters and stuff.
Yeah.
To get down there. But this is the first round of which you are traveling. Let me make a note here. And you'll have to travel one more, and then you'll be at the location. Archibald, Fredericksham, what would you like to do?
So you said we're crouched behind. We're kind of crouched down in an alley.
Yeah, so it's all almost like a right angle. Archibald and Dr. Portwright can see Lord Billiam has fallen off the roof. Lord Billiam has kind of fallen right into where they can see him out of their alley. And then if you take a hard right out of the alley, that's where the party of strangers is standing.
Okay, so can I, because I'm not great, I should have held on to that blunderbuss. I'm not great with handguns, so can I, like, try to prep and, like, steady my aim to try to make it a little easier on myself if I have to start, like, opening fire on these guys as they, if they descend on Lord Billiam? Because it doesn't seem like more people joining him would make these things be less. Like, it seems like more people joining him would cause a bigger scene and arouse even more suspicion.
That makes sense. You may take a moment aiming your gun, and if you do that, I'll give you a bonus die if you choose to fire it.
All right.
Okay. So you're using this round to aim your gun, and then Dr. Portwright, what would you like to do?
Do these 3 people? I mean, I know they don't look like they're supposed to be together, but do they look mad or like that? Billiam.
You don't see them right now. They are around the corner. But when they walked, you like I said, there's the alleyway. You see where Lord Billiam has fallen, and then you just saw them walk past, right? So they're around the corner. Would you like to sneak up and go take a look at them? Would you like to walk out of the alley and confront them?
Would I know that, like, he made enough of a noise and they are close enough that they would obviously notice?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
That is a fact of this situation.
We're gonna go ahead and make a character decision, and I'm going to assume that we want to stay stealthy, seeing as how we were, and not be found out. So I'll go out and I'll say, "Billiam, there you are! Of course. I mean, you had to, Frannie, and we spent way too much time at the bar. Man, I go and help him up."
Very good, and it also sounds like you're fast talking. So because you're kind of trying to put on a show and lie. And I'm going to say, it does take you a moment to get your air, Lord Billiam. So I'm going to let these things resolve, and then we will move, if necessary, into real, combat turn round order. So, Dr. Portwright, why don't you go ahead and make your fast talk roll for me? You have a 30.
Great. That's a cool 52.
Okay. Would you like to push it?
I mean, I do have what do I have? 91 luck. So,
but you only can use 10. In my game, you can only use 10 at a time.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a real piece of shit that way.
Okay, well, all right. Let's go ahead and how would I push it? I could say, well, it's you've come in, visiting here. This is not the place to be on your first day in York. To kind of like make you see, like, he's a tourist,
Okay, so now, what I'm going to rule is that in order to push this, you kind of have to approach all of them and get really close to them and sort of even kind of try to pal around with them. Go ahead and roll it again.
Y'all know how it is. 14.
What
A
ho,
14.
y'all?
The doctor, you walk up to them, and all three of them, one of whom, the Anglican priest, you've even seen before at like social functions. They kind of just
Do I
like,
know his name?
yeah, that's Father Dowling.
Father Dowling. Could you help my friend here? He seems to have had one too much at Chump's pub.
And so they go, your business is your own. And then they, that's what Father Dowling says. And then they all turn and they go walking, and they seem like quite strange. And Lord Billiam, you may roll psychology. And Dr. Portwright, you may as well. And they all just start walking away.
98.
39?
39. Do you have that in psychology? You
have a
have
30.
a 30. Let's not push that, shall we? We'll just say that you don't understand why they are acting so strangely, except perhaps they are up to no good late at night. And so they are just walking away from you. And now it looks like a combat is not about to happen. So I will just let Lord Billiam do something, and then I'll go around to each person. Lord Billiam, what would you like to do? They're walking away from you.
Well, obviously, I slide the lens back into its pocket for safekeeping. I gasp and I say, Doctor, they are monsters. They are monsters.
Well, they're just outs on the town. I mean,
No,
it's
we know.
3 o'clock. I understand, but it's
Ask Frannie. They're monsters. That's all I can say right now.
You only lost 1 HP. You could say more, but that's fine. That's fine. You're dusting yourself off. You're getting up. And so, Frannie, you are now there, and Archibald, you are still just waiting for an excuse.
And how far away are these people at this point?
Oh yeah, you wanted to just kind of peer out. So if you would like to, you peer out, and of course, Dr. Portwright and Lord Billiam can see this if they so choose. And you see them, they are now probably 30 yards down the cobblestone road here on the edge of the river where the drawbridge is, and they start to kind of peel off. The gentleman peels off down a street, and the other two keep walking.
Right. So I would like to explode out of the house and run towards them, being like, "Keep your hands off me, you pig! You monster! Help! Help! He tried to push me off the roof! Oh, my husband is so cruel!"
Okay.
Make it to one of the groups.
Great. Why don't you, we'll say you turn down the alley, or not the alley, you turn down the lane to the gentleman that pulled off, the man that, that's really the guy you've heard about, right? Chin strap. And you grab him and you're pulling at his coats. Is that okay to say?
Yeah.
Okay, and go ahead, and you may, if you'd like, make a fast talk roll, because you are lying to get someone to believe something temporarily.
Okie doke. I mean, I don't have a fast talk rating, that I'm rolling against.
Well, then that means you go with what it starts out at base, which is 5%. But listen, you have a pretty good. Oh no, I'm sorry. Let me see here.
I got a 58.
There's also couldn't persuasion work as well, or is that more of like a?
I got nothing
proper
for persuade.
conversation?
He gave me cooking.
A charm?
yeah. I was hoping charm. I mean, she is trying to.
Oh yeah, charm.
The keeper is now going to step in and say, "This is how we learn to play these games." Had she done a charming kind of approach, this is how we learn to play this thing that me and my friends do, Eliza.
Please help me.
Eliza,
help me.
Can I explain to you about Cthulhu for a second? Look, next time, try to be charming.
Wait,
this
does
time,
it help if I have goggles with gears all over them?
it doesn't.
And a pocket watch that speaks to spaceships.
It doesn't.
Powered?
It doesn't, and you do not.
Okay.
This gentleman. Yeah.
I was going to say. I have like a recovery plan. I don't know if you should say your thing first, or if that makes more sense. Or I was going to say I'm going to follow up behind her, and I'm going to use my credit rating to establish myself as a very rich, well-to-do gentleman. And I'm going to walk over to the man and be like, "Oh, much apologies, sir. I have come to this town to apprehend my young son's wife, who, as you can see, has gone quite mad. And I wish only to bring her home. I apologize for her bothering you."
You owe
He
me
pulls-
forever putting my hands on
Okay.
that man. Sorry.
Everybody, great acting. I'm not going to make you bother to roll more spot hiddens and things, though, because this is the point in which he pulls out like some kind of iron spike and just tries to put it very quickly into Frannie's head. What is going to happen is if people have guns drawn, they can go first. So it's actually really a good idea that Archibald came running and forced himself into that fast talky scene, because we have established that his gun was kind of drawn. This man has pulled an iron spike out of his jacket. He's pulling it back, and he is approaching Miss Chump. And firearms go first. How do we do, Archibald?
I just roll against my firearm skill, right?
That's right. I'm not going to give you that aiming bonus I talked about earlier, because that situation has passed.
Yeah, this is more of a Steph Curry shot than a Klay Thompson. Two players I don't like.
I love how we had them walking away from us. And then we just drop them right back. We're just like, no, wait. We want to die.
Hey, look, I figured you of all people would appreciate going hard for it. I got a 22, so I'm going to use those 2 luck points to shoot this man.
Yeah, don't
Okay.
low-key note my moves. Man. Come on.
Go ahead.
I throw myself in there.
Go ahead. Look, exciting stuff's happening now, right? Go ahead and make your damage for your attack, my friend.
Oh, this thing isn't even very good.
Turning from a drunk to a woman who's getting beat to a really rich person coming in and being like, let me give you some money.
I got a 7.
Oh, that's actually quite a good roll. Would you please now try to roll a 35 or lower on a D100?
You got this. I got a 21.
Okay, so what happens
I got
is
another 21. Oh no, I got
your
a 22.
Your bullet hits this guy, and he doesn't seem fazed by it at all. But then suddenly, something inside him just like unravels, and like his jacket pops open, and gears and like weird yellow, like viscous, like sludge just like pour forward, and like the skin on his face like comes loose, and like yellow, like, bile is like pouring out of it, and machines and springs, and it is a horrific sight that causes my friend Archibald Fredericksham and my friend Miss Chump to make a sanity roll.
Do we see this? Billiam and I?
No, you guys were kind of around the corner, and I was about to go into a round order where you could have run around to that lane, but Archibald fired, and then the thing that happens sometimes when these things get hurt happened.
43. I got a 43.
I got a 49.
Okay, so for Archibald and I believe Miss Chump, that is a success. Yes.
Yeah.
So both of you take 1 sanity. Of course, you were expecting this. These creatures are everywhere. But your
How
gunshot.
far away? Yeah, how far away were the other 2 at this point? Like, how far? What was the distance between the 2 groups once they'd split off?
Well, they had gone like 30 yards up the lane, like along the river, and he had turned off into another lane. But I can tell you that lights are now coming on inside, and now let's go maybe no more fighting is going to happen, but let's go ahead and go in dex order just in case. I'm just going to write down your dex orders I should have done this earlier. My friend Lord Billiam is pretty good. And my friend Frannie is slightly less good. Okay, so what would you like to do if everybody who's fired a gun is going to, which I think that they have? Let's go with Lord Billiam.
I confirmed with the secret keeper that I do have my Henry rifle secreted on my back beneath my cloak. I would like to run towards the action whilst removing that from under my cloak.
Okay, very good. Yes, of course you may. Yes. And you run to the action and you get there just in time to see the man burst open. Go ahead and make a sanity roll. Your gun is armed, but you make it just in time.
God, 94.
Now
that's a failure. Just I don't know.
That's
if you
a failure. That might be a failure. And when you fail, I roll the dice. Here's how many. Wow, if I can keep it on my table, here's how many sanity poor Lord Billiam loses. 6 sanity. Now Lord Billiam must do what they call the roll to find out whether he really realizes what he's looking at, whether it is real or not. Lord Billiam, would you please make an intelligence roll and tell me if you succeed or fail?
Yeah, 19. I was only... Yes.
You succeeded, and that in this particular case is bad because Lord Billiam, he's seen too many scary things. He's been around the block too many times, and he knows exactly what he's looking at. He is looking at the forces of the Cthulhu mythos, and that means now I get to roll on my very, very fun table that tells me exactly, unless Rhett, unless your character has a very strong idea of how he would react, I'm going to roll on this table that tells us what he does.
No, I'll trust you, but can I scream while it's happening? This is what I was talking about, Frannie! Up on the roof! This is what I was talking about!
You may, and then the next thing that happens is...
The stars are still there!
Fuck the stars!
This is great. You have rolled physical hysterics or emotional outburst.
There you go.
And so that is what happens is that Lord Billiam starts screaming like... and because you've gone insane temporarily, actually you're going to be physically hystericaling and emotionally outbursting for the next 10 rounds, probably till the end of this scene. Lord Billiam is screaming, "They're not people! Don't you understand? They're not people! They're everywhere! Don't you understand?" And now people are coming like out of their shops and out of their apartments, and they're looking down at him from windows where they've lit candles, and they're looking down in the street where he's just having like a complete emotional breakdown. And then it is Frannie Chump's turn.
Thank you. And at this point, like we're away from them, right? Like I don't have to see being attacked.
Yeah, so at this point they are like around the corner and 30 yards away. You don't know if they're coming, but you've killed the one, apparently killed the one that was right near you.
Yes, okay, just making sure. So I would like to run back to the vicinity of Lord Billiam and be like, "Women are people! We work hard! We do this for a reason! We protect our families!" And help like create a cover for him for everybody. We're just drunk, having some sort of domestic fight.
Very good. It sounds like you are once again lying. So go ahead and roll that 5% fast talk again.
I feel like I'm charming everybody. I'm
then,
psychologizing them.
I will allow you to be charming if you'd like.
Okay. I'm sorry, everyone. My poor husband is so misogynistic. He knows not what we do. I try and tell him every night.
Go ahead and make the charm roll. I'm gonna allow it. I'm a nice guy.
24.
Very good. People are like, "Quiet down out there. Come now. What's your problem?"
Sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm just so tired of it.
Very good. So people are kind of starting to not pay attention. I'm going to go ahead and at least go through the rounds one time just in case it becomes important. So that, Frannie, you have disarmed the sort of emergency situation. People don't seem to think that it actually is an emergency, although Lord Billiam is still screaming and crying. Archibald, what would you like to do?
I'm going to use Lord Billiam's fit to investigate.
Wait, what part of his outfit?
The pockets and body of the thing that exploded.
Wait, are there still like 2 other ones?
The two split off. They like split off.
They're kind of around the corner and a ways away, but I'm still in round order, Mr. Baizer. If you want to go chase after them, This is all happening round to round right now. So Archibald runs up and starts going through the disgusting heap before him. And
I'm digging around with my cane again.
Is he
can
still
make
the dead guy? Is he still holding a needle or a steel pike or spike?
a steel spike, actually. Yes.
I want to get that.
And that, Archibald, is the first thing that you find. And with that, you can make an intelligence roll, or you can make an operate heavy machinery roll to know what that's about.
Well, I feel like I know which one of those two I'm going to roll on. So my did you tell me to do a spot hidden first or the intelligence first?
I'm going to go ahead with the intelligence, and then we'll do a spot hidden as well. That
Okay.
can all happen instantly as you get up to the body.
So the intelligence I got 53.
The thing that he's holding is a railroad spike. It is definitely used in the building of railroads. It's something you'd find at like a rail station. And now you may make your spot hidden.
That's a 24.
Very good. This close to the thing, for a moment, like it feels like your senses are kind of like pulled out of your body for a moment. There's a very heavy scent, and for a moment you see like a golden strand of that fungal stuff leading off down and around a corner.
A heavy scent of what?
A heavy scent of smells like. That's a great
Lilacs?
question.
I'm sorry, I'm curious. I want to know.
No, that's a great question. It's not lilac. It smells like a rotting fruit.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Cool.
And also this guy's got nothing on. Like I'm like kind of poking around in his pockets and stuff. He doesn't seem to have anything of import on him.
Let me see. Actually, let me look very carefully. But
I would love it if he has a flyer on him that says like secret hideout with a little X on a map.
Exactly. That would be
That's
useful,
ideal.
wouldn't it?
Bad guy meeting tomorrow night. 6
yes.
o'clock.
Miss you from Secret Hideout. Like a postcard.
You do find something in the mess. You pull free something he had under his coat, a tiny marionette that stares up at you, now covered in the sludge. Like, meanwhile,
Please screenshot that and make a marionette of it.
Dr. Portwright, what do you do?
So I kind of want to break down what's just happened in front of me. Is I go and say he's drunk. They're like, okay, cool. She runs out and starts yelling. I don't know what's happening. He runs out, shoots. He runs out, starts yelling, and I'm just kind of sitting there like.
Just thinking about your screenplay. You're all coked up.
Yeah, and by the way, add the layer of very coke to the gills.
Yes.
Dr. Portwright, what would you like to do? Do you want to chase the ones that are getting away? Do you want to examine the body? What would you like to do?
Let me run and go see what exactly Lord Billiam is yelling about, and why Archibald Fredericksham, why did he shoot a gun at these people who I apparently knew.
Very good. So
run over.
It sounds like role playing is what you're moving to, and that is completely, of course, that's great. So you head over there and you start confronting Archibald about firing a gun and such things. Is that correct?
Yeah. I mean, what exactly? Oh my lord, Billiam! They're monsters. What did you tell me?
Which one did I shoot?
You shot the man, the young gentleman.
The chin strap. Okay, great.
What did you tell me? I guess. And then can I see kind of over with Archibald what exactly I'm seeing? If it's kind of looks like the person on my table back in my office.
It looks exactly like that. I mean, some of the machinery might be slightly different, but
get a good look. I told you, 15 years of this shit, and you just sort of accept it as fact after a while.
Billiam is still screaming. They're everywhere. You could be one of them. You know, these kinds of things.
And I'm muttering loudly things like, "That's not my old family. You haven't met them all.
Are we
It's
still
not that big a family even."
Are we still in like turn order, or?
I'm going to leave it now because it sounds like it's sort of disintegrated into role play, which is no problem at all, and very good. No.
Can I go give I'd like to go attempt to administer a touch of Dalby's carminative to Lord Billiam.
What kind of opiate is that?
An opiate.
Okay.
Opium.
Very good. Very good.
The classic.
Okay.
Opiate classic, yeah.
So I'm not going to make you roll for that, Lord Billiam. If you consent to taking this relaxing draught, then you have now returned to your normal self. I'll allow it, since we've kind of moved back into the fluid time of role play. And so your friend Archibald has calmed you. You're all still sitting on a street corner. It is now probably 4 a.m, and the sun will be coming up in another hour and a half or so.
And which one of us looks the strongest as well? Seems like the fittest.
That's a great question. I would have to say either
probably Frannie, probably the barkeep.
It actually is Frannie with a 68 strength.
So I'm gonna nudge Frannie and be like, be a dear and drag it into an alley.
How many times have you said that to you? Help. And I go over to the doped up Lord Billiam. Yes.
No, the dead thing.
So I'm going towards Lord Billiam, and you go, no.
Yes. No. The thing. Also 9 times.
9 times. Oh yeah.
The corporal of police arrives.
Yeah, mayhaps we should take it to the coroner's office.
Well, the police have arrived now. The shots fired report made it to them. Some young boy ran across town to Silver Street to the constable's office, and now
he's going to get it if I find out who that was.
Yeah, constable. There's trouble near the castle. And so now the police are here, and the corporal says, "I hope that was worth it, Mr. Fredericksham. I hate that we're disturbing the peace, but I hope you've gotten a step closer to solving this strange mystery."
I mean, you don't really know until you've solved the mystery. It's sort of a guess at this point, but I imagine we're closer. Also,
much closer.
One fewer of those things, and I gesture at the thing that Frannie is dragging off if she's dragging it off.
Oh, good Lord.
He's being modest. Look at this thing. He's a monster.
It's Bulmer.
Who?
Who?
Clarence Bulmer. They're an old family around here. He runs the Northeastern Railway. Good God.
You've given us so many clues now, Constable.
Yes, and we're probably at least a few steps closer just from you having said that to us.
It seemed like you needed them.
Wow, as not a member of this, what was it, Fishman Society? Whatever. Sure seems like you're fit for it, officer.
Thank you, miss. I tend to agree with you. So now what I would like, since we have reached the end of our 2 hours of play for tonight, is I'm going to let each character do one final thing, and don't worry too much about what the timing of it is or whether it would be legal. I'll take care of that. But I'm going to start, if I may, with my good friend Lord Billiam. What would you like to do as your final action? And it could happen after you've rested at the inn or something like that, but let me know what your final action is. I can come back to you, Lord Billiam.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
I'll go with someone who always seems like she's ready. Eliza, what does Frannie do? Her final action for the evening.
I know that Archibald has already picked over this corpse, but I'd like to look. I'd like to take any bits of jewelry, any finery, anything that might be worth something, and take it back to the widow's house and just drop it on her doorstep without a word.
Oh, that's very nice. For doing that, you regain sanity.
Yay!
And
I'd only
you
lost
regain.
one.
Well, you only regain one, so
Okay.
That's good. Your sanity can go up too, and it can go up higher than it started at if you do good things that help people and stop the evil of the mythos. In my game, at least, I allow that sometimes. And so then I will ask Dr. Portwright, do you know what your final action of tonight's session will be?
Well, I would like to Also, I mean, I would like to get this body to my coroner's office, and I really want to understand how these things work, because they aren't people, but they look like them, and they act like them. There must be some way that this works, and is this a new species? There has to be some scientific, medical explanation for what I am seeing.
Make a pharmacy roll.
Mm.
Oh, okay. I have pharmacy. 20. I'm rolling hot. Damn.
So, Doctor, you investigate this thing all night, and finally you figure out that this fungi could be transformed into medicine form, as many fungi throughout history have been.
Opium.
Yes, and at the end of your night into dawn's experimenting, you are looking at a vial of yellow fluid that bubbles ominously. Please add that to your inventory. Fungal formula.
Ominous fungal. What was it?
A fungal formula.
Formula.
Yeah, you could call it fungal chemical. You know what? However you want to write it down works for me. And finally, not finally, but next to finally, Archibald Fredericksham, what would you like to do for your final action of tonight's session?
I would like to use my library use skill to investigate all the documented, both credible and less credible. I imagine there were tabloids back then. I don't know. The like history and go through like old reels of stories about like the history of the railroad, and hopefully also thus the family that owns it or maintains it.
Very good. Yeah, absolutely. So you may go ahead and roll your library use, and you are kind of going through records in the courthouse pertaining to ownership of land, who owns what estates here, and how did you do?
I got a 61, so I'm going to use a luck point if I can to knock that down to 60.
Very good. You find that the Bulmers have been here since the very beginning of this town. They've been here a long time. They're a very prominent family, and that recently the youngest scion of the family, Clarence Bulmer, brought a new railway into town. There were other railways that were popping up around 1839 and 1840, but he's brought in the new Northeastern line. In fact, that's a railway you may have rode on at one time in your life. And the final thing I'm going to allow you to do is make a hard intelligence roll. Hard meaning half of your skill.
Yeah. Well, I got a 31.
So your intelligence, Archibald, is pretty
Oh,
good.
it's
It's
80.
an 80, so you made it.
Yes.
And you realize while basically as you're leaving, you decide to go over and take a look at the rail station, and you see a big locomotive pull in, and you see heat lines coming off of it, and you see all the damp moisture of the steam kind of pour out in big billowing clouds. And you remember the moment where the doctor mentioned to everybody that fungus grows well in a hot, damp climate. Meanwhile, Lord Billiam, what is your final action for tonight's scenario?
Well, I'm exhausted, and I've got some opium in my system now. I can't stop thinking about these fucking marionettes. So I'm going to ask Archibald if I can have the other marionette that he got off the dead body.
Oh, God, yes.
I'm going to take the marionette I've been secreting in my cloak. I'm going to put him on a fire before I can sleep, because I can't sleep with these motherfuckers looking at me.
So in the ye old Star Inn where you have taken up lodgings, poor Lord Billiam, the haunted Lord Billiam, takes the two strange marionettes and he tosses one into the fireplace in his room, and suddenly there's a screeching sound, and it jumps up, and it starts climbing around his room, and that's when the one in his hand starts moving and like trying to like claw its way free of him. And the marionette claws its way, the one that you had thrown in the fire, still burning, claws its way to the window and looks back at you, and then hops out of the window. And that is when you make a sanity roll again, Lord Billiam.
He's gonna be crazy.
34. Ooh, I just made it.
Okay.
Only one more sanity lost, Lord Billiam. Only one more sanity lost. We're slowly chipping away at one of the leaders of the Neptune Society. Maybe one day we'll get him in a padded room. Guys, that is how we are going to end tonight's episode of the Neptune Society. What? I had so much fun. You guys are so much fun to play with. Thank you again to my incredible players, Will Weldon, Eliza Skinner, Rhett Miller, and Will Baizer. We'll be back next week, Thursday, same time. Guys, thank you.
Thank you. It was really fun.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much
You guys
for
are so
coming up
funny
with
and
it all.
entertaining. Oh, I have to write my stories, don't I, Eliza?
Well, I mean, you could make them into movies instead, but yeah, this is a good use of them.
Someone get Scorsese on the line.
Yeah. Also,
All right.
get him on the line and let him know that not only can you play a great skeleton, but a really great possessed doll too.
Here's what I want to tell Scorsese when I get him on the line. Okay, there are these marionettes. That's how the pitch goes.
Wait. Scorsese?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's pitch the horror marionettes to Hallmark as a Christmas movie.
You know what? I would love to make one of those things. They're so funny.
Right.
Hey, you know, Rhett Miller's playing shows all the time. Where can they find some of your stuff? Rhett, you're playing during the pandemic online?
Yeah, there's a platform called Stage It, and I'm doing 4 shows a week from right here in this very spot. The next one will be tomorrow night, Friday night.
Great. Check out Rhett, because I mean he's a rock star. And then Will Ain't Slayed Nobody is coming up every you will Baizer, Ain't Slayed Nobody, a great podcast where they play this same game, Call of Cthulhu, but in the Wild West. And people can find that at ain'tslayed.com. Where's it at exactly?
Yeah, ain'tslayed.com. Ain't Slayed Nobody on pretty much any platform you can find your podcasts. We run any game of Call of Cthulhu. We play Cthulhu Dark. It's great. Go ahead and please join us. It's
I want to play Cthulhu Dark with you sometime. And Eliza, Earth to Ned.
Yeah, you can watch Earth to Ned on Disney Plus. All of the 20 episodes that we made last year are out now. They're real weird, and they're appropriate for the whole family, which means that kids will be like, "This is fun," and grown-ups will be like, "Whoa, they said that." And also, big news: Angry Little Goats is coming back as a podcast. So,
whoa! Will and Eliza? Oh no, it's not happening. Well, I was gonna go ahead and make. I knew if I asked Will what he would like to plug, he would just make fun of me anyway. So we're skipping him.
I have a plug, I guess.
Oh, okay,
No, I
go
have
ahead.
one.
Go ahead.
Well, I got 2 things. One, if you want to see a video of my dead dog making crazy noises, a compilation I put together not long after he died. That's on my YouTube page. I don't know what the name is.
Why?
But
That's my favorite plug I've ever heard.
because they're really funny noises. He was fucked up.
The only noises we made were really weird noises.
Yeah. Look, listen. Theoretically, my friend and I are going to be starting our podcast that we do periodically again. But he's been extremely sick for months, not with COVID, which is like a great look into how his life tends to go, that he's violently ill with not the pandemic.
So maybe...
I don't think you'd enjoy what we do. I think you'd have a bad time.
So keep an eye out. Keep an eye out for a podcast by a sick guy that's not doing so well.
It's called Jesus Christ, I forgot what it's called. Oh, This Country's Hard on People is what it's called.
Nobody, you should go ahead and give it a listen.
Great.
Hey.
Guys, thanks again. Let these guys know on their socials how much you enjoyed them. I'm going to say goodbye for right now. Thanks again, guys. See you soon.
Yay, Jared!
Great performers and players. My name is Jared Logan. This is the Stream of Blood, and we are going to say goodbye right now. I'm going to give a little bit of a back matter, and then if one person has a comment or question, I can hang around for that. We are supposed to be playing Blood and Blades tomorrow. And we are going to. I don't know. Actually, not tomorrow. Saturday, my friend. Saturday. Clinton Trucks. Come on, buddy. Hey, Clinton, hop out here, buddy. Hi.
Guys, I got a lot going on. I apologize.
Yeah,
Saturday.
clearly.
Saturday.
Yeah, Blood and Blades, Saturday, 6 p.m. Pacific. It is happening. It's happening. And we'll introduce. Look, we've had a little issue with booking. The crew that I might have teased at THACO Tuesdays. We might have a different crew, but there will be Blades, and it will be played by incredible people. Sunday at our new time, 10 a.m. Pacific time, Vampires of Pittsburgh continues with Ashley Birch, Abubakar Salim, and Ross Bryant. Be sure to be here for that. I've been talking to the coterie all week about where they want the game to go, and they have some interesting ideas. Our podcast, Stream of Blood, has a podcast you can listen to, Vampires of Pittsburgh, on it. Catch up on old episodes. Please subscribe to it, rate and review it. It helps people find us here on Twitch and on YouTube, and it strengthens the channel. And we have the very lovely our friend Andrew working on it. So I would love everybody to check out that podcast. We have original artwork by Will Potworth. As usual, I made it to one of the drawings of the 6 or 7 drawings he created for us in the first session. So you got to believe that I'm going to be throwing all of them at you next week. I can't wait for you to see some of the stuff he's created for this. Will Potworth, Pottorff. And you should find him at willpotworth.com or on Instagram. Spread the word about the Stream of Blood. We're on Twitch. You can subscribe for extra benefits. Comment about our stuff on YouTube. Please subscribe there as well. We're on Instagram and Twitter, on Reddit, and we are on our Discord, the Server of Blood. Please check us out there. And because we are over 40, some of us, we are on Facebook. All right. So is there any comment or question before we go? Oh, I do want to say that Oswin Millwater, a.k.a. our friend Hybrid 5's HQ, was the one chosen. There is now a lovely island called Jersey Island in the middle of the English Channel in a mansion called the Maison 22 that hosts the Neptune Society. Lady Hypatia and myself made this decision. And so the Neptune Society is a little ways from London now, but they are perhaps more international. And I also happen to know that the adventure after this one for the Neptune Society, which it looks like will not be game mastered by moi, but a different guest game master, a guest keeper, will take place in France. So many planets aligned to put us on Jersey Island. Thank you, Oswin, for your submission, and thank you for participating so much in our fictional world. All right, what was that question, Clint? I'm sorry, I missed it. Question or comment?
Oh, it wasn't a real question. Everybody's congratulating Chris, Hybrid 5, but no questions this evening. Thanks for watching.
All right. Oh, I guess the show's over.
Yeah, I took control.
When Clint takes control, you let him do as he pleases because he's a man of action. I thank you to Clinton Trucks and Brian Baldinger who help us make this for you. Thank you to my social media manager, Megan Arch, to our YouTube content producer, Matt Moynihan. Garrett Ross created our Stream of Blood logo, and the opening animation is by Eliza's boyfriend, Andrew Orvidal. Thank you guys, and until next time, Shub Nagurath Cthulhu Fatagan. Bye-bye.